right, YouTube, welcome back. We are on our way back from Walmart, of all places, believe it or not. I can tell you're as thrilled as I am to be there, but it was actually, you know, not without purpose. I had to pick up some of this, and it's a 10-pound test line, and I got I think a 50-pounder in there as well, plus some painter's tape. It's like, what the heck am I doing with that? Well, pretty simple, actually. If you remember a few videos back, I put that, well, I actually purchased the Commodore Specialties carbon fiber spoiler for my SS, but I haven't had a chance to put it on yet. Well, this weekend is finally the weekend, and funny enough, the hardest part about putting them on is getting the old one off. So I believe Marks uses 3 bolts, which is more than enough for that thing. And I got brand new 3M tape for it. But there's the old tape from the factory on it, and the fishing line is used to get underneath of it and kind of, you know, just wiggle back and forth, cut loose that old 3M double-sided tape, with the goal being that I don't have to attack it too aggressively with pry tools, because I really do not want to do that if I can avoid it. Worst case scenario, I'll get some of my old pry tools to, you know, wrap some tape on them to keep it from scratching. But I'm going to use the blue painter's tape, lay it down real nice, set up kind of a barrier, and fingers crossed I don't rip the living crap out of the underneath when I'm doing it. So we're almost home. Let's get in the garage, let's get the old one off, and fingers crossed that it doesn't come off in multiple pieces. All right, folks, so how you doing? We're back in the garage, and we've got pretty much everything that we need here to start working. I'm going to clean the area once I get this guy off the car, but first what I'm going to end up doing is running it tape, the 3M tape that I picked up around the outside of the spoiler to give myself a little cushion, so when I get underneath it with the fishing line, I'm not cutting the living crap out of the surface here. And I'll buff it real good once it's all said and done. Just kind of looking at this, it's not I'm not devoid of surface scratches on this thing. So when I get started, get this guy off, so what we're gonna have to do is open the trunk up, and then I'll get the camera in a better position. But let's get the trunk open here, and hopefully not completely block your view. But what we're gonna have to do, let me get you moved. All right, so I apologize, there's probably a lot of shadows on here, and I'm gonna have to take this guy off. I just want to take a quick look under here. Looks like it's just a little socket, probably a 6 or 7, 8 millimeter. Gonna pull this guy off. These tabs are super easy. You just kind of pop it loose and you can pull the whole thing off. So to give you an idea, you kind of pull this guy down a little bit, pop it, and once you pull it out enough like that, they just come right out, and you could easily pull the tab out. So of course it falls on the floor. Make sure you don't step on it and lose it, but it's pretty straightforward. Getting out, and then you put it back in, it's the same deal, they just lock in. So I'm just gonna leave these on the floor, pull all these out, pull this out. And you just got a few of them to go around here, and I'll drop this down so I can get access to it from this side. And then we'll close the hood, or close the trunk, and go around, try to tape it up real nice. So everything's pulled out now. We got the handle out, it's down. It's actually 7 millimeter socket on there to pull that down. Everything else, you just gotta take this guy out with a Phillips head, and then there you go. I mean, geez, that was, couldn't have been simpler. So let's get that out of the way. So we got the back cover off, pretty straightforward. This handle here is a 7 millimeter socket. This is just a Phillips head, pretty easy, and this just holds the lower tray up to here when you want to pull the thing up and have everything come up with it. And then everything else was just a little snap clips, real simple. And so it's hard to see from this image just because I don't have it set up. Like the lighting isn't that good, so I want to have it over top here. But there's a hole here, and you can see a corresponding hole here. This is 2 of the 5 bolts, and then the other one is straight away through this spot right here, you can see. And then, you know, I've got pretty big hands here, but I can get my hand in, and when I come to the left here, I feel what feels like another nut. Now, I'm not sure if it is or not. I haven't seen in there yet, But let me see. So I apologize. It's going to get, like, the light is not going to be as great. But I want to take a little sneak peek in here and see if I can see what we're seeing. All right. So, of course, there's a bump. So I'm not 100% sure what the heck I'm looking at. But let me shine it this way and see if I can see it. All right. I don't see anything that way. Let me see if I can feel anything. I don't think. Let me see. Now here's the problem. I feel what feels like a clip, but it doesn't feel like a socket. Maybe it is, but it may just be a clip. I'm not 100% sure what the heck it is, so I'm gonna have to get some weird angles on it. But there's the three main ones, and I'm gonna see if I can maybe get something from this way here a little better. And I can't see very well. You see, okay, like I got my hand on something, but I can't see it. Maybe if I look through that hole. Yeah, it's a clip. Huh. Literally a clip. Okay, so that answers that. There's actually looks like there's only 3 bolts that you have to get to on this, which is good. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shoot directly at it, and I'm gonna have my, so what I'm gonna end up doing is get my magnet, and I'm gonna put the magnet in there, kind of in the area, so when I loosen it up, I can get a hold of it right away, because I don't want it falling down into here and rattling around inside the trunk. So let me get the other spoiler out of the packaging so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about here, and we can do a comparison. So I'm holding up the, and look at how beautiful that carbon fiber is, man oh man. So I'm holding this guy up here just to give you an idea. There's one here, one over here, and those are the 3. They correspond to the 3 that I mentioned previously. So, you know, it'll hit this guy over here, the center one, and the far side there. All right, so like I said, the hole alignment's really good on this. It should be easy to run the holes in once I have it set up. I'm not really gonna bore you with the initial pulling the bolts out. I will show you a little bit about how I get the spoiler off the other side of this, only because it's going to be really tedious. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but I want to get started. I may not even finish this tonight because I really don't want to scratch this, but for now I want to get these bolts out, or just get the nuts off of them, and then we'll close the trunk. I'll reposition the camera, figure out what I'm going to do. I have to tape off around the area, and it's just going to be some good old-fashioned elbow grease to get these off. And then you got to clean it, pick it off, and it's going to take a while, rubbing alcohol, and then you can go back and put the new one on. But for now, let me get to work, and I'll check in momentarily. All right, so I lied. Actually, I'm going to show you a little trick that I do that helps keeping the bolts from dropping. So by the way, it's a 10 millimeter socket to get these bolts out. So this one was easy enough. I could get my hand on it. This guy is kind of blind, but I can't get my meaty digits in there. So what I do is get it to the point where it's loose enough that I can go by hand. And I take a magnet, you can get something simple. I just stick it on the end of it, and you gotta make sure that you can get some good magnetism on this, obviously, but this works very well. I just keep it applied to the back end of it, and then when I bring her out, she's stuck to it. So, easily just take the magnet off, it comes right off. So, works out very well for what I wanted to do. I just try and keep these guys together over here. Okay, folks, so I have the spoiler taped up now. Essentially, stuck the tape a little bit kind of under the ledge a little, and around the backside, and out towards the edges here. And I've got just 3M, the Scotch blue tape that you have at you can get at Home Depot or something like that. And the only reason I'm doing that is because my hands are going to be all around on this, and I really don't want to scrape it up. I don't care as much about the spoiler because I'm going to be pulling that off. And one thing I wanted to just show you guys, and I picked up this kit off of Amazon. Let me get it out for you, but it's trim tools. We'll just lay them down here, and they're plastic, right? This is from Tres Salto. I don't know, some off-brand. Now, like this dude is metal, right? So we got to be careful with that. So I'm not going to use that on here, but I'm definitely going to use. These are plastic. fairly robust, and I'll be able to get in underneath and pry it up without doing damage to the car. And gotta obviously be gentle on it, but you can get in. See how this gets in? Pretty straightforward. And then the goal being I want to get in and get directly underneath the bolt. And if I can get away with doing that, then and get around it, I can pry up around that. And you can see this goes in pretty straightforward. And I'll have to kind of locate the center, but I'm going to kind of just start at the edge, and you got to work the adhesive loose. And that's why I've got the fishing line, because I'll just bring it through here, and then eventually I'm going to hit a bolt. And then what I'm going to try to do is kind of pry it up enough to feed the fishing line through and keep working it across. And I'll periodically show that, but for right now, I just wanted to show you how I'm taping it off. It gives me a surface where I don't have to worry about scratching it or anything, and we can get down to business. So let me start. I'll get the removal process going, and then check back in with you guys. So I wanted to get in here a little bit just to kind of show you what I was doing. I started from this side and ended up using the fishing line. Now, granted, I got a couple of pieces here, but I worked it through here till I hit the bolt. Then I used this guy to get in under the edge here and prop it up enough so that I could see a hole just to the left side of the bolt. And then I had a fresh piece that I threaded in underneath and then worked my way to the next tab. And then I took this, slid this one in under here to kind of keep it propped so that I could then keep working along here. So there's going to be a lot of adhesive I'm going to have to clean off. It is what it is, but I want to take a peek under and kind of see what's doing. But I think I'm coming up on the next bolt, so I'm going to pass a fresh piece underneath here. I got quite a bit of it, but want to see if I can do this while you guys are watching. It's a bit of a hemorrhoid, but we'll give it a shot. See if I can do this without too much problems. So thread back under, and then I just kind of keep it pulled up a little, and I'm just working my way across. At some point, I am going to hit the, whoops, see, snapped. And this is 10-pound test, so I'd rather see that do that, and then just keep pulling and prying. So I check from underneath. There we go. See, so that clip came up. There's a clip there that has to come up. Okay, yeah. And I gotta see. Okay. Oh man, wow. It is clip at the end. That's the bolt that came up. So it's this bolt. It's a clip at the end here that you have to get around. Pulls up really easily. And then it's the first screw, second screw. So there's a third screw, and then there's another clip at the end here. So a lot of finagling, but you can slowly get it to come up. So, and what helps too is I use this light, and let me just get this out of the way here. But I use this light too because it allows me to see where the best gap is. So it's actually pretty clean underneath here, and I'm right up against the next clip. There's a clip here that pops out. Okay. So that just keeps coming, and it's going to make some ugly sounds as you work it up. You just kind of have to be prepared for it, and if you get your hands under it, you can now get a little bit of leverage. So I'm going to take this guy, move it to here now, take another guy, slide it under that, just to kind of give myself a surface to work against, moving across here. So we're just going to keep trucking, doing the same thing. Eventually we'll have it off, and you'll get to see the carnage underneath it. Here she is, off, and now you can kind of get a feel for, if you were doing this yourself and you wanted to take this thing off, how would you go about doing it? It's this bolt, and I can't tell. I may have just ripped these things clear out, but there's quite a few bolts. It looks like we're in here at one point. Got clips and clips. I don't think this was actually held on anywhere. If I take a look and see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so these bolts weren't actually hooked on anything. But I've got these clips at the end here, which I'm just gonna put some double-sided tape on. And then the same deal with this. I'm just gonna put my double-sided tape around here. I've got some extra double-sided tape that I'm gonna put just around this area here to kind of squeeze and seal the holes. And the ones that I'm not gonna use, I'm just gonna cover up with double-sided tape. And then we'll squeeze it down real good. I gotta clean this. This is really gonna take a while, but here's the original spoiler. Get this out of the way. Put this back over here for now. And it looks like I got a lot of cleaning to do. I just wanted to give you guys a quick cut in here of how I get the tape off. Like this is on pretty good. I'm gonna have to use just a compound or something, but I have to clean this dirt off first. I just use my thumb. Now, if you don't like that horrible squishy sound, but I just put my thumb down and that sound, oh God, it's hard. It's hard to listen to that, but if you can see reasonably well enough, there it is again. I can easily, it takes a little bit of work. You can use the back of your hand, you use the side of your finger, switch it up, but like if you slowly work it on here, it comes off relatively easily. Now granted, I'm not in a boiling hot. Now it said you could use like oh, there it was again, a heat gun or something like that, make it a little easier. I found that this, when it's like cold, comes off pretty darn easy if you give it a little bit of elbow grease, it comes right off. And then this, you just take a little compound, you can clean that off pretty well. I'm gonna get this out of the way. Kind of just in my way right now, but you can see now I got to clean all this off really well, but it's coming off, and this will be under the spoiler, sorry, so it'll be pretty straightforward. We'll cover it right back up with the other one, but now I got to get all of that taken care of. So it's still a lot, but I've already gotten half of it done. It's taken about 5 minutes, so we'll just get ourselves set up over here and get back down to work. Go through the side, just kind of push along here, put a little pressure down on it. You're not going to distort anything, but you just, oh man, every once in a while you get that horrible sound, but slowly pulls it up. So it's really all there is to it. I'll get this cleaned up and then we'll start working on reinstalling. Okay folks, so she's installed. She's looking awesome. I may have to pop her off and maybe move her back a little bit because I can't seem to get it fitting perfectly flush, but that's more of an install error. It even says that in the directions that I got to make sure that it's sitting flush. I mean, even with the 3M tape, I'm not getting it to sit perfectly flush. So I'm gonna probably have to pull it back up and back it up a little bit. But I mean, I'm really happy with it. Really looks awesome. And kind of a little added bonus, I added in, let me just move this here and bring you guys down. I added in my LSA badge also. And I apologize, you're getting probably blown away by the sunlight here, but it's looking really awesome. I'm really happy with it. And she's looking pretty darn awesome, if I do say so. I had to tweak a little bit here in this one corner, and believe it or not, I actually used some drywall sanding paper. You can kind of see it's got a softer back to it. It's like not hook and loop, but something along those lines, and it allows me to when I had it without the bolts in it, I would lift this up, and I could get it under there and kind of hold it up and sand it, then check it, do it again, check it, and I get a nice gap all along the entire length of this. And this side touched down really well, so I didn't really care. But overall, super happy with it. Another awesome product from Commodore Specialties. And the only thing I'm doing, I'm just waiting until tomorrow to finish up doing some of the bolt tightening and then closing up the cover in the trunk because as the adhesive, the double-sided tape sets and compresses, you can tighten it a little bit more. So I'm just waiting as it loosens up. I tighten it up. It's getting to the point now where it's not tightening anymore. But overall, guys, super happy with it. Can't say enough, man. Make sure support Mark, support what he's doing. You're gonna get an awesome product. You definitely won't regret it. But thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, as usual, reach out to me. And if you're new to the channel, push that subscribe button. And thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, we'll catch you next time, hopefully with some racing action. Talk soon.